You're gonna hire, like, literally when you search up Pete Hegseth on Google, United States Secretary of Defense. You're telling me the United States Secretary of Defense is somebody that was regularly showing up to work drunk?
Regularly showing up.
What if he sees the red button for the nukes and he's like, "Oh my God, red button," and he just and then we. Welcome back, Beyond the Mic Politics. Happy New Year. It is the start of a new semester and we are back and better than ever. It is the first 100 days of the Trump administration and my God, do we have a lot to unpack, both in terms of news and in terms of my psychological well-being, because it's a mess. Before we get started, as always, my name's Yeyya and we're going to have everybody introduce themselves. We have a new addition, so we're going to start with our brand new member. Introduce yourself to the people.
My name's Bryce Johnson Dendy. I'm a senior biotechnology major. Getting my MBA next year.
Hey.
First time on the thank you. First time on the podcast. I'm very excited to talk, share my opinion, listen to what you guys have to say. It's a very contentious time. Like you said, a lot to unpack, so I'm ready to get into it.
All right, welcome, Bryce. We are so happy to have you. And for our two returners, let's remind the people who you are.
Oh, what's up? I am Abby. I am pumped and kind of nervous to talk about what's been going on because these last couple weeks, dear God, it's been something.
What's up, y'all? It's Daniel. I'm just excited. There's a lot to talk about, good and bad. I love news. I love politics, so always a good experience to get down and talk with everybody. So it's real thrilled.
Yes. May I just say before we get into anything, it is such a privilege to be joined by young, intelligent Black people who are ready to talk about the state of the world right now.
Right.
Can we talk about the socioeconomic state of the world right now? Y'all didn't get the reference? Jaden Smith?
I got it.
Okay, nobody chuckled. That's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like people our age just like either they're like really immersed into politics or they just don't know what's going on at all. So I like that we're here bridging the gap between the two, making sure people know what's going on, but also getting it from some fresh faces, some people that can relate to them. So
Very much so.
I'm very excited. This is great work that we're doing. So without further ado, let's get started. So what is it? Today's the 30th. 10 days ago, Donald J. Trump was sworn in as our 47th president, and he got busy. He did not waste no freaking time. So what are our overall feelings right now in this moment about the Trump administration?
To be completely honest with you, the fact that it's only been 10 days, I thought it's been a couple weeks.
You can say that again.
Like, the amount of stuff that just happened, I feel like the general trend has been the chaos surrounding different things happening, like the uncertainty behind, like, his executive orders. So, honestly, it's gotten me kind of nervous. Like, what does that mean for, like, just people in the country? Like, just in general, people that I know, people I might not know, people who are struggling, and then just the general, like, state of the country, yeah. So, I'm kind of... It's interesting, definitely.
To put it lightly.
Yeah.
Put it very lightly. Dan, Bryce, how are we feeling, y'all?
I think it's kind of dual. Like, in a way, it's unsurprising, his action, and at the same time, it's equally as unsettling. I think that what he's been doing is exactly what he said he was going to do. And a lot of these, like, grand, like you said, like, even though I feel like the point of these executive orders is not even for legitimacy, whether or not they work, whether they get upheld, whether they get fought, the fact of the matter is his base, the people that voted him into power are going to be seeing this, and this is what they're going to remember. They're going to remember him signing the executive order. They're not going to remember what actually happened. So I feel like a lot of his action so far has been a lot of him flexing his power, shoring up his base, both the voters and the people that he's actually running for. He's actually going to be helping. At the inauguration, I thought it was extremely interesting. You see Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg are sitting front row seat. And I think it's hilarious that the people that are so quick to support Trump and a large part of his base are good. These are blue-collar farmers and it's kind of a visual representation of who Trump is actually advocating for, like sitting right behind him. That's his front row seat. But like I said, so it's kind of, like, and who he is as a person. This is not the first time that we've dealt with him in a national stage. So a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing at this point, I feel like it's almost I'm desensitized to it. Like, and he is, some of the new stuff he's topping it, like, and he's really surprising me. Like I said, that's why it's like it's unsurprising, but it's unsettling. But yeah, it's almost like I feel like that's like the point is to desensitize. Like there's just so much coming out that it's like you can't even keep up with it. You can't even track it. It's almost like I'm just sitting here just watching everything.
I want to put a pin in that point specifically, and also going back to what you said about him flexing his power with all these executive orders. So we're definitely going to revisit that. But Dan, what are you? Talk to us.
I mean, I feel as if, the same way you guys feel. But I feel like Trump is just pushing the limit. He's testing that limit to see how far he can go, see what orders are being blocked, what's being frozen, what is going to go through, what won't go through, kind of just to get that gauge for his own power and what people are going to let him do and what they're not going to let him do. But also to, the way Bryce is saying, like, to desensitize us, but also it's to distract us, It's like a lot of stuff is happening and so much stuff is happening. It's hard to keep up with all of it. So it's like that flurry of things, like it's not an accident. It's not like him acting out on a whim. Like it might seem like that. It might look uncoordinated. It might look like, like a madman is in office, but we have to reanalyze like what's happening and to focus on what exactly is going on, the executive orders, the stuff that he's doing. Even past executive orders, the stuff that Trump's saying, the stuff that people in his cabinet, members of his staff are saying. So it's important. I mean, I feel a little uneasy about everything. Not super confident economically, and as it relates to foreign relations. But hey, 4 more years. So that's what it is. That's what it is.
Before I get into my own feelings, I want to clarify for the audience. So there's a lot of anxiety surrounding these executive orders, but I want to give you guys some semblance of your reassurance. An executive order is not legislation. Legislation can only go through Congress. So an executive order really only pertains to the federal level, specifically the executive cabinet, things like that. So this is not Trump signing laws like just like that, because that's a whole process. And we know how slow our Congress is. But this is just him like saying that his cabinet and his government has to follow these rules, like the federal agencies dismantling DEI initiatives, having the 2 sexes only on paperwork. That's mostly for his administration. So that's not being passed into law yet. However, the one thing I want to know with the executive orders is that he's already putting his agenda out there. And that's now going to, how can I say, galvanize his faction of the Republican Party to start passing or trying to pass laws that mimic these executive orders. Because I feel like now that Trump is back in office, like, I guess what you could call fringe Republicans, more far-right Republicans than we're used to seeing, are going to feel more emboldened and more empowered to pass legislation that 8 years ago would never have seen the floor.
No, they're back.
Guys, I'm being so serious, y'all. Sure. Like, I feel like we're living in a fever dream. Like, every day I wake up and I see something. I see my AP News notification, and it's like, Donald Trump passed, Donald Trump said we're going to buy Greenland. And I'm like, what are we really talking about right now? What are we talking? Greenland? Like, let's take a moment for that. Greenland. You want to buy Greenland. I'm like, I don't know if he thinks he's Thomas Jefferson and this is the Louisiana Purchase or something, because let's really talk about it. The Louisiana Purchase, I think Thomas Jefferson bought that for like a cent or something like that. It was really low. Like, no, he's not going to do that though. He knows that. Going back to Dan's point about this being a distraction, he's saying this so that nobody's going to be paying attention to what's really happening on the floor, because these days people really only read headlines, right? So it's like, it's flashy. There's that element of sensationalism. It's like, oh my God, Trump is going to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Wow, rah, 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 rah. But it's not going to happen, and he knows it's not going to happen. But then you have to question the legitimacy of a president who is able and willing to say such outlandish things to what? Shake the population, to scare the population, to put the population in a frenzy. Like, why is your goal as a president to almost divide instead of unite and reassure people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like it just.
I think like just kind of off that point, you would think that a leader of such a diverse place would prioritize unity, but I feel and I fear as we're talking about this far right segment of America, like their dream of America is not united. It never was. So, and he is their representative. He represents what they see. So this type of like, and really what you said, I want to hit on, like, this is Trump is a very smart, intellectual human.
Yeah.
He is.
He doesn't seem like it.
He doesn't seem like it.
But
and
there's
that's
something
part of
going
it.
on over
That's
there.
part of the craft.
That's the-
That's part of the
whole
craft.
thing.
If you're not really looking and you're just looking at what he says, you're not looking into it, you're fooled into thinking that this is just somebody that's out there doing just random things. But it's very calculated fear manipulation. It's very calculated rhetoric in the way that he's speaking. Like, he knows exactly how to manipulate masses of people, and more importantly, the emotions of masses of people. Yeah, like, I feel like just in the world that we're living in, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of frustration, especially in our country with the way that things are going for almost any group of people that you can talk about. And if you can put a face to that anger, you can then subjugate those group of people to anything, because the people that are angry at those people want their problem solved. If you make them seem like the problem, they'll be fine with any solution as long as it's gone. So these immigrants that are coming in are killing
being
people, stealing their
scapegoated.
jobs. Let's just put them in a detention facility. Nobody's going to bat an eye because he told us that was the problem. This now your job, get rid of the problem. I'm not even going to look into it. This is why I put you in office.
And I'm not making no claims. I'm not saying nothing. All I'm going to say is this method of scapegoating minority groups has been seen in the rise of a lot of modern tyrants. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Dan, talk to me about your feelings on Trump attempting to end birthright citizenship.
It's a topic for me. I think specifically it's a little. I don't think it's a good idea. It's unconstitutional. In the Constitution, to be a citizen of America, one of the conditions is you're either born on American territory or you are born to American citizens or whatever. So, but that main thing is being born on American soil. If you're born on American soil, you're an American citizen. That's it. Simple and plain. There's there's nothing else about it. It's in the Constitution. It's, it was part of those like initial like amendments that kind of were solidifying the rights of recently freed slaves. So it's more than just saying like, you're a citizen of the country. Being a citizen of America means you have certain rights. It means that there are certain civil liberties that cannot be, impeded upon. For example, just like as it comes to like detention or jail, if you're a citizen of this country, you can't be thrown in jail for nothing, right? The way they can detain possible like terrorist suspects, like they used to in Guantanamo or in other CIA facilities, but it speaks to what the real agenda of this administration is in a way. It's kind of like America first, but our definition or their definition of America versus what we've known to be America. America has always been land of the free, home of the brave. It's been a place where, people can come to for new opportunities, emigrate to for a better, life. So it's part of the history of like America, Ellis Island, Pilgrims, everything. You look back in American history, it's about immigrants, people coming to this country and then becoming Americans and their children being American and, that being like you're rooted in America, but it doesn't mean, like because you were born somewhere else, or your parents were born somewhere else, doesn't mean you're not American. What makes you American is, I mean, if you want to go by the Constitution, if you were born on American soil, or if you were, born to two American citizens.
Yeah, and I want to touch on your point of what makes you American and how there's, I guess, diverging visions now of what an American is. Because if you're targeting birthright citizen, you're ultimately aiming to gain the power to reshape what it means to be American and reshape it in a vision that is going to be exclusionary, basically like what it was back then. Abby, I'm going to ask you if you want to expand on that a little bit and your feelings. And do you think, I know a lot of like attorney generals are planning to challenge this, obviously, but do you think it's even feasible for him to do that? And if not, why do you think he even went for it? Because it's it's enshrined in our Constitution.
Seeing that it's like so enshrined in our Constitution, as you mentioned, kind of going back to the point of he's just saying things to kind of say things and get the attention of people. That's kind of what it goes back to. He's all talk in that way, where it's like maybe he is trying to take some steps to remove birthright citizenship, but like in reality, like how far can he go considering Congress moves so slow and like different things like that. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those points that it's just he's just talking and he's like working behind the scenes as well. It's like, this is a part of the Constitution. This is what it means to be an American. But it's so concerning because you see people really like supporting that. Oh my God, like, yeah, let's get rid of it. It's like, are we really just going to take away what makes the U.S. the U.S.?
Because if we really get into it, where were the parents of the founding fathers born?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What? Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't, like, why are we just ignoring the fact that the founding fathers, like, if you trace their lineages back even 2 generations, like, it's not American. Like, like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no.
Because how can they claim the right to be forming a country and forming America and becoming the first Americans when they're not like ethnically or originally from there, and then now like centuries later you're trying to reshape that? Like, how can you say you're trying to stay true to the founding vision when you're literally trying to disregard and misinterpret like the words that Thomas Jefferson and the founding fathers wrote themselves with their own pens? Like, that's so insane to me. And it's just like revisionism at its highest peak, but it's very scary. It's giving scare tactic. Bryce.
You know what's the kicker?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, that's okay.
Guess where his grandfather was born?
Oh, I know this. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna see if y'all know this.
I don't.
Germany. Okay, I guess. Yeah, Germany, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trump to a German last name.
Yep.
So,
I mean,
what's
I just
really
looked
tea?
it up, and he said, birthright citizenship was intended for like the children of slaves, not for the world to pile onto America. And you kind of like it. That's yes, but he knows that's not what that really is for, and he knows that's not how it's being interpreted now.
Mm-hmm.
The world changes. Constitution was written to, like, that specific part of the Constitution was written to ensure the rights of all citizens and all people in America. So it's like, what he's doing. You know what he's saying, what he's doing. The rhetoric is, what the rhetoric really is about. So,
because at the end of the day, like, as the president, it's not your job to interpret the Constitution. No, that's not what the people are putting you in office for. Leave that to the Supreme Court. Honestly, with the way the Supreme Court is looking, where we should be grateful that these attorney generals and lower federal courts are blocking this, because I don't know how much confidence I have in Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito and Amy Coney Barrett. I always get her name wrong. ABC alphabet.
Oh,
Yo, ABC's
Like
crazy.
I don't have much confidence in them because they seem like Trump yes men.
They are Trump yes men.
And his actually, let's talk about his cabinet. His entire cabinet is Trump
a lot
yes
of
men.
yes
What do we
men,
think?
man.
We talked about
It's a
this
lot of yes men.
a little bit. Talk to me, Bryce. What are you thinking about his cabinet? And Pete Hegseth was just approved.
Like
Yo.
Coming to work
I think-
drunk.
just
Okay.
from a like, it's interesting how he talked a lot about while he was running about the government being weaponized, the Justice Department being weaponized to go against him, and then as soon as he gets into office, he's firing. I was actually talking to my roommate about this. A great point, like career long. As soon as he gets into office, he's firing career long servants to America simply because he knows that they will not align with who he is and what he might identify with, what he might try to push through, regardless of what they have done in these little 2 weeks, whether they have opposed him or not. Just the thought that they could is enough to remove them. And then when you look at his cabinet, I mean, it's typical, like, I get into office, I'm going to surround myself with everybody who's going to say yes to me. And it's not even people that I'm looking at them, and regardless of their political views, regardless of, you know, what they might believe in, like, just, are you qualified to do the job that you're about to do? Do you understand fully the responsibilities of your job? I was watching some of the interviews that they were having for Hegseth, right?
Yeah.
Hegseth. And one of the senators was talking to him about, like, there are 3 high-level negotiations that the Secretary of Defense is responsible for. Can you name one of them? He's completely evading the question.
Couldn't do it.
Could you name one country that is in this? I forgot what the actual treaty was, but it's a treaty with multiple, like, Eurasian countries. Like, could you name one country that's in it, and why are they in the treaty? What do they bring? He can't name it. And it's like, regardless of, before we even get into the obvious ethical, personal problems, like, because that's going to be heavily disputed. They always have, you know what I mean? Like,
Always got an alibi.
There's always an alibi. Before I even get into that, like, do you even understand the responsibility that you're really, like, this is an incredibly powerful country, and the most powerful arm of the country, this news host is about to take over.
Because like and it's so jarring to me because it's like you're targeting DEI initiatives for not hiring people that are qualified. Baby, before we get into DEI, let's get into legacy. Let's get into legacy students. Let's get into the nepotism that we're seeing here. Like, hello, you're telling me that you're gonna hire, like, literally when you search up Pete Hegseth on Google, United States Secretary of Defense, you're telling me the United States Secretary of Defense is somebody that was regularly showing up to work drunk?
Regularly showing up.
What if he sees the red button for the nukes and he's like, oh my God, red button, and he just and then I'm not gonna curse, but we nuke somebody that we're not supposed to nuke.
Right.
This is SecDec. Like, this is the person that is representing. This is who and in a period of time where there's so much foreign tension. There's so much foreign tension, and people are always saying the world's gonna end. The world is this, but, like,
Shit, I said that 3 times a day. Actually,
now like, you look at Ukraine and Russia, and not even now just Israel and
Palestine.
Not even
Israel
just
and
that,
the whole Middle East.
The whole Middle East. There's huge unrest in very contentious parts of the world, and we're putting the man in charge for that is Pete Hegseth.
Hey.
Like, it's scary.
Hey.
It's shocking.
it's
And I think the point of showing up to work drunk, right?
That's
Any
like-
other industry, would that fly?
no, like, what the hell?
And you're telling me it's flying in our government?
Like, are we serious right now? What?
Like,
Serious ethical and moral concerns.
right.
I would not even trust my doctor to be coming, like, a little sleep deprived. Like, and you're telling me the Secretary of Defense of our entire country is coming to work drunk?
It's not also he's drunk. You're taking out company employees to strip clubs.
Oh.
You're chanting "kill all Muslims" when you're drunk.
Yeah, like,
You're being dragged away from the floor of a strip club. Unfortunately, that's not the kind of character or conduct that's becoming of somebody that is one of the highest ranking officials in the entire
The world.
world.
No, actually, like, literally, not even the country.
Yeah, the
The
world.
world.
The freaking world.
He's the head of the armed forces. Unfortunately, that's what the Secretary of Defense is. He's the head of the armed forces. He's in charge of major military decisions, major national security decisions. And he is someone who has been quoted, cited as being frequently drunk, morally reprehensible. His own mother, his own ex-sister-in-law have come out and made statements against him. I mean, that's just one person.
That's one person.
That's one person. And that's someone who was confirmed.
Yeah.
Cash Patel for FBI. Gabbard for national intelligence.
No, what's Kennedy?
Kennedy
For health and human services, the one that said that vaccines cause autism. Are you kidding me right now?
A lot of insane stuff. And then as soon as he gets in front of the Senate,
I'm not anti-vaccine.
I never said that.
I never said that. He's selling anti-vaccine merch for infants.
And this is a man who,
Infants is crazy.
when he was running for president, was quick to badmouth Trump.
Extremely quick.
He actually ran on being anti-Trump, and then as soon as he realized I have zero chance of winning, he sold out for a position.
You know, he approached both Kamala and Trump actually for a position.
Yeah, I did not know
yeah,
that.
he approached both of them for an endorsement, and clearly Kamala rejected him because then he went over to Trump. He approached both of them, but that's a pattern. I think a lot of the unsuccessful
Rubio,
Nikki Haley,
because they knew that like Trump could literally kill their political career, and there's something very insidious about being able to wield that much political power that people that were outspokenly against your reign and your tenure as president that like
fall in line,
that have connected you to January 6th. We're going to talk about January 6th too. That have connected you to January 6th and have openly denounced you, that are now flipping and being like, no, like, let me join your government. Like, I feel like no president in a democratic country should have that kind of power.
No.
Like, you should not be so scared for your political career that you're basically abandoning your morals and what you stand on. Like, it's one thing to get new information and, you know, change your opinion on that. But this is just giving sellout. It's literally just giving, I don't want what's best for the country. I just don't want the Democrats to win. One day we'll talk about how the Democrats and the Republicans are low-key the same, but we'll get into that another episode. because we don't got enough time to.
We'll be here for a while.
Ooh, yes, Abby. So let me look up the stat right now. Actually, I believe it was 1,500 people that Trump pardoned for January 6th. Let's look up the stat. The criminal records of January 6 rioters pardoned by Trump include rape and domestic violence.
Yeah. Two of them are what are they? They're child predators. Two of them, at least. Yeah.
We're just unleashing these people upon the world.
Like,
We are just unleashing them.
Proud Boys.
Yeah, the Proud Boys.
The Proud Boys. First of all, I remember when they came here, y'all. I was in Altoona and I got sent up here to cover the like counter event that they were having. That was crazy, y'all. Like, that was insane, to the point where like my one friend was reporting and they like were fearing that they were gonna get pepper sprayed by the police because it actually broke out. Like, it was getting bad, y'all. Like, these are the type of people that like even their mere presence creates so much tension, to the point where like I was seeing the policemen in their big ass horses. Like, this is not the atmosphere that should be surrounding a college campus. I have here 1,575 people charged.
What's your take?
1,570. Wait, like pardon, right?
Yeah, he pardoned everybody. He pardoned everybody, all of them. What do we think about that?
It's really mind-boggling.
Bear in mind, 2 of them are child molesters. We don't know how many more of them are in the same camp.
And the thing is, you look at it and it's like, I don't know, it just leaves me speechless, to be honest. I mean, he said that he was going to do it. Like, the one thing I can tell you about Trump is that if he says something,
he's going to do it.
Yeah, if he has that power to do it directly, like pardoning power.
It might not happen.
Right.
It might not happen off the bat. But you know what I mean?
He's going to try his damnedest.
That's why he get people.
Right.
That's why, because it's like, how many times do we have people that Democrats or other people might elect that get in office, they don't do anything.
They don't do nothing.
So at least the people that vote for Trump are like, hey, he's doing what he says. It might be absolutely insane, racist, homophobic, and sexist, but he's doing
It's
it.
happening.
And that's one thing
Like-
you can never hold against him. I think he learned his lesson from his first term in
Yes.
office. That's one thing people have been saying is that now that he's had a taste of the presidency and he understands how it works, everything is gonna go 10
he's
times
smart.
faster because now he knows that
He knows what to do.
he sat in that Oval Office before. The chair was waiting for him. It was being kept. Biden was just keeping the seat warm for him. To be honest.
And the fact that he had 4 more years to plan, like his
plan.
Yeah.
Plot.
Wow.
This is a
Scheme.
this is a vengeful like
An actual
this is a
villain.
vengeful man. This is somebody who is now not only
God.
is Trump who he is, but now he feels wronged. He feels attacked.
He feels
He's still
attacked. He
thinking
feels
about-
feels
he's still
persecuted.
He
thinking
feels
about 2020.
persecuted. This is like so
Right.
when you combine that, all of those factors, and then you add in an injustice, as if it feels like he has to get revenge. That's not to mention he has immunity, which is a whole nother conversation that we could get into.
Oh my
Which is,
God.
and we want to talk about what America is. That's like the most backwards.
When you said that,
That's
actually,
the
like
most-
my heart that
Like
to my ass. Like
it's
that's
the most
crazy.
backwards thing I could have
Ever.
ever seen on my phone. I'm looking at the screen like, what?
Immunity. I think
Immunity.
when I saw that, I literally had to put my phone down because I'm like, this is out of like every single. Because listen, yo, I'm gonna chat shit. I'm gonna always be like, man, get me out of this country, da da da. But like, you can never say that Americans don't enjoy certain rights and freedoms that other countries don't have, and I'm grateful for that every single day. But when I'm waking up and the first thing off the wake up, bro, like I haven't even cleared the eye crusties out of my eyes, and the first thing I'm seeing off the wake up is that somebody has just been granted immunity in a country where no person is supposed to be above the law.
Completely.
What are we supposed to think at that point? What the hell? Like,
And
at this point, forget the Constitution. What the hell? I'm about to go commit treason right now. It's like, don't come at me. Don't come at me. If any feds is watching
It
this,
wasn't me.
I am
It was
just
her.
kidding.
It
Like-
wasn't me, it was her. Yeah.
Oh, so we snitching now?
Yeah.
Nah, get off my get off my segment, bro. Get off my segment, bro.
Nice.
No, Dan, get off my segment, bro.
Nice.
The door is right there.
I do want to touch like on the January 6th. The January 6th to me, like we said, like we enjoy so many. The fact that we can just go on a podcast and blatantly talk trash about our own government and not fear for our lives is a right that most people in the world simply are not able to enjoy. But I will say, if on January 6th, those people were black and were holding Obama signs,
Jesus.
they would not be there would be nobody to pardon. They'd be dead. They would have deployed every the
SWAT
Marines,
team,
the SWAT, the
Black
National Guard.
Ops.
This and mind you, this is right after Black Lives Matter protests. This is right after black people. They're already looking for a reason to weaponize black people.
Being called thugs, being
all
called
this.
every
For
name under the
burning
sun.
targets, for burning targets.
Man,
can you imagine?
Who gives a fuck about Target?
Can you imagine if
Well,
it was
I
a bunch
do.
of black people in the Capitol building? They would have shut down the whole country.
Oh no!
Shut down.
Not to mention
The
that.
whole country.
Not to mention that the January 6th rioters, they're injuring law enforcement. People are dying. Like,
What is it?
They're
three-
kicking their feet up.
What is it? Three
where we
Capitol
signed
officers?
laws.
3 Capitol officers that committed suicide after January 6th?
Can you imagine?
and let's not forget, y'all. I don't know if y'all. I just learned this recently, like a couple of months ago, but they were outside the Capitol talking about some hang Mike Pence.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That was a whole
What?
What?
About
That-
everything and everything.
That
Yeah,
in and
what?
of itself should.
What?
Yes, bro. Hang Mike
Yes,
Pence.
Yeah, they were talking about.
That's
yes.
insane. Like that in and of
He was
itself
fearing
should
for
be
his life.
treason. Because we're talking about the vice president over here. You're talking about some
That's
hang
not-
him.
it's not like some random dude.
No, this is
It's-
not some random.
First
dude.
of all,
guy.
we've evolved from the hangings. Like, we're not lethal injection now. They're trying to take it back to the medieval times. They're trying to take it back
Right.
medieval times. That's crazy.
I truly
it's
think
a little,
that
it's
day-
a little familiar for them. Hanging, lynching,
absolutely.
all that.
Oh, but they don't want to hear that,
They
though.
don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear that,
Yeah,
though.
no.
I think that day. I think January 6th in history will be looked at with more significance than it is right now. I think it's been swept under the rug very efficiently, very well. But when we look in
Yes.
100 years, 200 years, however long it takes, there's like that will be the moment where they look back and be like, "This was the republic being burned."
That's a turning point.
It was a turning point.
Turning point. It's going
Like,
to be
right in
whole
our
chapters
face.
dedicated.
Whole chapters to how was it possible that a candidate's supporters stormed the Capitol building outside of the Supreme Court and the White House is probably the largest representative monument of our nation. They walked right through the front door.
And to put it in an international perspective, this day was so influential and so significant that it had literally like copycats. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but I forget what year it was, but Jair Bolsonaro, the former Brazilian president, lost the election to Lula, who is kind of like a left-leaning socialist politician. He's currently the president. And Bolsonaro supporters did the same thing. They stormed the Brazilian capital because they saw what happened on January 6th in the United States.
Exactly.
There's something to be said about the unique position that Donald Trump is in. Nobody has ever shaped American politics and even global politics in the way that he has. And it is insane to the point where people are taking inspiration from rioters because they are they're not happy with how the election went. And going back to the rights that were provided in the First Amendment, we have the right to assembly, we have the right to petition the government, of course. But when did we get to a point where we're now contesting our elections? Like, when did we get to a point where we can listen to a president basically be a sore loser and whine about not winning the popular vote and the electoral vote and be like, yeah, like,
let's grab the pitchforks.
Let's grab the pitchforks, grab the torches, grab the nooses, and
Never.
let's go to the Capitol. Like, that's literally...
Never.
And first of all, actually, how come we didn't know about this? How come the intelligence agencies didn't know about this? Because this had to have been planned somehow.
No, they did, but they didn't think it was like an actual
Trump
threat.
told him on national TV, guys.
Yeah.
Because realistically, up until that moment, can I really believe that?
Let's talk about something that makes me even more mad, though. Trump's stances on immigration, y'all. ICE is out and about. ICE is out and about. There have been rumors that they've been here in State College, actually. But it's like, because they're escaping these situations where they're living in fear for their lives, right? But now they come here and they're hoping for more freedom. They're hoping for maybe economic opportunity. And they, once again, have to live in fear for their lives because now it's like, I just got here and now I have to worry about someone coming, maybe not busting through my door, but somebody knocking loud as hell and just taking me and my kids and maybe separating me and my kids. And it really just is starting to shatter this illusion of America as a land of opportunity because, like, obviously, like you said, there needs to be a process, but the process is so difficult and so long and so tedious and confusing that, like, there has to be a way for people to come here and, like, you know, I don't know, not to try and change the entire immigration infrastructure of the United States in one podcast, but, you know, like, something to give them, like an interim card or something, you know, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's about humanity. Like, we can't call ourselves the moral center of the world. We can't call the U.S. the land of the free, the pioneer of democracy, when you have so many people who look up to us and then you're shattering that dream for them just because they're running away from their lives, just because they don't have the education for circumstances that are, like, not up to their control, you know, and you can't handle people the way that ICE has been handling people now and just mistreat people just because they don't speak English, just because they don't look like what a normal American is supposed to look like, just because they don't come from the background that you think they're supposed to come from. You know, it's always going to be, for me, it's always going to be people over politics. Like, you cannot be separating kids from their mothers in an unfamiliar country. You cannot be having them lying on the bed. One thing that I will never forget, when the detention centers were really at the forefront of the news cycle, was what's his name, the captain that was held by the Somali pirates. Captain
Phillips?
Yeah, Captain Phillips. Yes, Richard Phillips. Yes.
Phillips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember he tweeted out, even the Somali pirates gave me a toothbrush. This is the moral center of the world we're talking about here, and kids aren't even getting toothbrushes. How much does it really cost to make a toothbrush? I can buy a 5-pack of Colgate toothbrushes for maybe $6. Please. Please, like the border patrol can provide toothbrushes and toothpaste for kids. Like it's just terrible. Sorry, y'all. I went on a little rant, so
That's okay.
go ahead.
Do every single day, 7 days a week, without questioning it. I'm not an advocate for just like let's just illegal immigrants, like because there are some dangerous illegal immigrants. There's also some dangerous every single demographic of American in this country. Especially, let's talk about who's actually dying, children, who's killing children. It's not illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants are not walking into schools with firearms and killing children. They're not.
Clock it.
They're not. And I think like the we talk about the reason like these people will just come back. Like the human spirit is undeniable. If it's this, I get deported or I go back to Haiti, where there's no water, safety, food, electricity. You can send me to wherever you want. I'm gonna try to come back. We might as well allow these people, not allow these people, but make it like we said. Some type of process to make it easier to come in, because these are the people who actually want to do work. They make it seem as if they're stealing jobs. The jobs are there. We're not taking the jobs. Those are not the
jobs are there.
The jobs are there. Those are not the jobs that we want.
But actually, let's clock it, because number one, the jobs are there, but the jobs aren't giving us livable wages. So,
but they'll take them and won't complain.
That's a thing.
Exactly.
That's a thing.
Like they'll sit on that. They will be in that field in Florida, doing whatever the manual labor is in that hot sun. I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to do that. But I love whatever fruit, whatever product they're producing that shows up in my Walmart that I go and buy in my State College Walmart that's there. I'm probably relying on some type of illegal immigration work.
And let's talk about how they talk about stealing jobs, benefiting from our social security system. They don't qualify. They're undocumented. They don't have a social security number to get these benefits that you're scared of them taking away from you.
What? Does that make sense?
Dan, let's talk to the people.
An undocumented immigrant has a social security number. How does that really make sense to people? Like an undocumented immigrant is collecting welfare from the government. Yes. The same undocumented immigrant the government doesn't want here in the first place is gonna go to the government and ask them for money. What?
Because you have to present paperwork for that. Why are they gonna try and get benefits if they don't have the paperwork to present?
I feel as if
it's some things that they just have to slow down and just say it slowly.
We're worried about
but they're not thinking they're not thinking
the wrong
about that.
things. They're worried about the wrong
not
thing.
thinking about that.
That's the importance of education.
Like even when Trump was debating Kamala and he said they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Yeah, ha ha ha. It was funny, right? It was this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But they're not eating dogs, they're not eating cats. But the perception of people that aren't American coming into this country and doing unspeakable things.
It's extremely low.
Hurting your children, hurting the people in your communities, eating your dogs, eating your pets. That's not your people. They're giving you a false narrative. You're being presented a false perception of what's actually happening. Like you just said, Bryce, the percentage of these crimes that are being committed by illegal immigrants is low. If you look at who's committing these crimes, it's American citizens themselves. The issue isn't the people doing the crime; it's the crime itself. The issue is the crime. Fix those things. There are things you need to fix before you can talk about kicking illegal immigrants out of the country. And here's the thing. Yes, he's saying illegal immigrants, but let's be honest. Once illegals are out, who's next? They need someone else to blame.
Who is next?
When the economy's failing,
who's next?
When the economy's failing and doing horribly, when you're not getting paid enough, guess what?
Who's next?
Who's next?
That's a great point. Who's next?
You think the illegal immigrants will be the last? No. There's always going to be a new scapegoat. There's somebody else to blame. Instead of looking at what the actual problems are and fixing the problems. That's the real issue. That's the concern I have. Because you're kicking out all these people who, like you said, Bryce, they want to work. They're here for a better life. A lot of these people aren't coming here to take away they don't care about your jobs. Like
that job of the hotel maid that's working 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. That job has been there. You didn't take it because you don't want to do it.
You're 9
because it's not giving you a livable wage.
Documentation. I don't
Like,
think
they're not
illegal,
taking that
I don't
job.
think
That's
illegal
not
immigrants
the
are
job,
coming
like-
in and taking your
No,
'Cause they
data
can't.
analytics
They
job,
can't.
bro.
Because they can't.
they're the one in the Buffalo Wings kitchen making them wings you love to come home to
Not
after
even-
your 9 to 5
not even
job.
the wings.
Like,
These are the bus boys. These are servers,
right.
dishwashers. Y'all like, and then
All the jobs we do not want to do. All the jobs that we feel as though are beneath us.
Right. But then let's even talk about then these immigrants are coming in and they're having their children who are going to grow
Who
up
are gonna
to
be-
be doctors, who are going to grow up to be data analysts, who are going to grow up to be professors, journalists, freaking mechanical engineers, software engineers.
That's the whole
And
point.
those are the ones that are going to be helping our economy and pushing our economy and
stimulating the
growing our economy.
helping the
That's the whole
country grow.
That's
So
what America is.
Because let's really talk about not only are immigrants now like helping the economy, but the American birth rate is falling. So we see the same problem in Europe. We see the same problem in Eastern Asia. People are getting older. Americans are not having as many children. So 20, 30 years down the line, our Social Security is going to be gone because
who's
there's
paying
not
my
going to be
retirement?
there's not going to be a working class to support the older class. And it's the people coming from the global south that are having more of these kids. So if you're now barring immigration,
y'all like that retirement age, right?
y'all like that because let's talk about in France, they was throwing a hissy fit when Macron was trying to raise the retirement age from 62 to 65, but they don't got workers
they
no
don't
more.
have workers. The people aren't getting paid enough. There's not enough money because the economy's failing. Because guess what? Because of far right policies and things that have happened. Guess what? Now the economy's in a worse place because there's not enough people. There's not enough people in France to stimulate the economy.
Like it's like we just want everybody to have a good life. Is that really a terrible thing to ask? I don't think that's a terrible thing to ask because as Americans take so much pride in, like Dan was talking about Ellis Island and people coming in and having nothing.
We're a land of immigrants.
Land of immigrants coming
really
in,
what we are.
having nothing and building themselves up from that. How can we pride ourselves on that, but then try and block people who are just trying to do the same thing? And you know what it is, y'all? It was the immigrants from Poland. It was the ones from Italy. It was the ones from Ireland. They faced discrimination too, of course, but they were able to assimilate in a way that immigrants from Mexico, immigrants from Haiti, immigrants from Cambodia have not been able to assimilate to.
Any
Hint,
place
hint.
with brown and dark people.
Hint, hint.
Nah,
Right?
Who's next? It's the Muslim world. It's the Arabs. That's who's next.
I don't remember what happened with the Syrian refugees when Obama was president.
That's who's next.
Like, come on. Like, it's a nasty,
Speaking of
nasty
Middle East.
cycle. Speaking of Middle East,
Nasty,
bro, that's not even-
nasty cycle. And it's just like, I feel like it's just becoming a breeding ground for intolerance. Like it's becoming so much easier now.
So much.
Oh my god, my friends are literally talking about this birthright citizenship stuff in our group chat. Like literally, people are like, I'm about to start carrying my passport around with me, y'all. Like I'm so
Swear.
dead ass right now.
Bro, that's so
the
real.
raids that are going on, like they're conducting these raids. Some of them are without even warrants, and some of the policies, I think, what's it called, the Lincoln Riley, the one that was
Lincoln
just signed
Riley, yep.
today, is it allows detention of migrants accused of nonviolent crimes, not even convicted, just accused, to be detained and deported. And like you said, it's breeding intolerance. I mean, there was a veteran, a U.S. veteran, who was detained.
I saw that.
Because he's Hispanic, and it's like basically we're back in the time where if you fit the mold, you're in trouble.
You're out of here.
If
What
you
happened
look
to
like the
due
type of people-
process?
Right.
if you look like the type of person that's yeah, you might be illegal.
You don't look like you got your papers.
You don't look like
don't look like you got your
like,
papers.
Guys,
like-
on this campus, who is more like who's that gonna happen to? It's not gonna happen to the white kids. Bryce, that's gonna happen to.
It's not.
Hi. That's
Like,
what's gonna happen
Hello?
to. So like by doing that, you're basically asking for ICE officers to go into say like
Racial
a campus like this.
profiling.
Racial profile to go on a campus like this. You know what they're looking for. They're not looking at the white kids who are the majority of the population at this school.
No, they're not.
Which, like, no problem there. You know what I mean? But guess what? They're looking at the Hispanic kids. They're looking at the black kids. They're looking at people that they think don't fit the profile of being here. What does it look like to be here?
To be here. What does it look like to be here? Right.
And that's going back again to reshaping the American identity. And I knew it when we knew that Trump was going to win, because we're coming into a new age now where Americans are no longer able to identify with this multicultural identity that we've built after so many years. There's a new shift where now this is a white man's country. At the end of the day, the day is gonna end. And it's gonna end on the white man's empire. Like, that's just what it is, y'all. We're reshaping what it means to be American, and we're redefining what it means to be able to legitimately exist here. And that's very scary to me as somebody with basic human empathy. And that's what it is. I feel like we're lacking in basic human empathy now. This is what I've understood from this new administration, is that if you don't look like us, if you're not going to support us, we don't care about you. Like, you do not deserve the basic human respect that everybody deserves, and you're not going to get that from us if you're not in our camp. That's why Vivek is over there doing God knows what. First of all,
Governor of Ohio.
Is it running? Yeah.
Governor of Ohio. Yeah.
He's gonna run for governor.
He was supposed to be in the DOGE, Department of Government Transparency? Efficiency. There you go. He was supposed to be in that. I think he dropped out himself willingly.
There was a rift between him and Elon, as well as other members of the DOGE.
Because what is Elon doing in the government?
He's not even
South African, mind you.
He's not even.
Oh, let's believe. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
every government official wants to go run everything by him. Like, yeah, I spoke to him this morning.
Oh, it's not that they want to.
It's not that they want
to. At
to.
this point,
They have to.
You got to. Yeah, they don't got a choice at this point.
They have to. Big Papa Elon.
Gotta check in with Elon.
You gotta check in with Elon. You gotta check in with Elon.
Gotta check in with Big Papa Elon. First of all, they might as well rename Uncle Sam to Uncle Elon. I'm so
honestly
serious.
though, my professor came up with a good point when I was talking about Elon. She said that she doesn't think that Elon will last long in the White House. And at first I was like, well, but then she made a great point. She was like, the personalities of Elon and Donald Trump, those type of people do not mix. And it's going to get to a point where one of them wants to play with the ball and the other one cannot compromise. Like, their egos are going to get to a point where they clash. And realistically, Donald Trump is the president. So you're only here because I say you're allowed to be here. Like, and it's going to get to, but like Elon Musk is also of the same.
He has a history of firing people that he got along famously with. Like, he will flip-flop on you so fast.
Quick.
His first cabinet, we talked about last time. I don't know how many of them survived the initial, like their initial year.
Yeah. What was that one position that he fired like 5 people?
Okay, there was
staff?
Chief of Staff.
Yep.
Chief of Staff.
Chief of Staff. I don't know how many press secretaries he went through.
Yo. Billion.
Like, bro. It like, I don't know. He was just bugging, bro. So Gaza ceasefire. Let's go Dan, Bryce, Abby, and then I'll touch on my stuff, and then we can wrap it up. Cause damn.
Okay.
Good conversations though.
Shit, like conversation was flowing.
Yeah.
All right, Dan, talk to us about Gaza ceasefire. What are your thoughts? What do you think rebuilding Gaza is gonna look like, if they're even gonna rebuild?
Obviously, I'm very, I'm glad, because the fighting has been too much, the destruction's been too much, especially in the Gaza Strip. But true peace is hard to come by. This ceasefire is only, in my own personal opinion, is something that, I don't know how long it's going to hold over. It's going to take a lot of international cooperation. It's going to take both sides sitting down and, like, actually, it's about if they want this war to end, truly. My personal view is that Netanyahu doesn't want this war to end because it's the only thing keeping him in office. And the terms of the peace treaty itself, the ceasefire, they are contentious. The hostage exchange recently went was chaotic, was described as chaotic, because something happened. Hamas held the hostages a little too long in the exchange, so the Israelis held their hostages too long in exchange. Things are already, tensions are high. It's so volatile. Anything could set it off, and with the way things have been going in the region, especially as of late, I just don't see this being as a full, I'm sure there is the opportunity for peace and, long lasting peace, but with how things have gone with both sides recently, but not just recently, over the last 2 decades, or 3 decades, honestly, for being honest, serious about things, it's just not, it doesn't look feasible to me, is all I'll say. But yeah.
You can go. I'm still thinking.
It's just, has it been it's been 2 years almost. No.
A year and
a
couple of years and change, yeah.
Seeing the amount of destruction that's happened, it's you look at pictures, there's just rubble everywhere. At this point, I've searched up how much is left standing, and it says about according to the UN, about 2/3 of Gaza's infrastructure before the war started is gone. So you're telling me they have to start with just 1/3 of what they had? It's and kind of looking at what foreign powers have said, so far it seems some nearby countries haven't really said anything. Egypt and Jordan haven't really indicated whether they'll help with the rebuilding financially or politically. But the Gulf and Qatar did say, oh, yeah, we'll support financially. But all at the same time, it's just the estimated amount that it will take to, rebuild all the infrastructure, electricity, water,
It's ungodly.
homes.
Hospitals.
It's
ungodly.
It's estimated to take 3 to 5 years, and then 3 to 5 years
5
of
years.
cooperation between Israeli and then
Zero chance.
Israeli and the Palestinian forces, Israeli and Hamas forces.
Zero chance.
The possibility that again the Iranian government could interfere as it's been interfering. The United States could interfere. The international community could get involved. There's so much that could go wrong so quickly. And there's people in both countries, Israel and Palestine, who don't want this kind of ceasefire. They don't want a treaty that works to the benefit of both countries. They want an only Israel solution or only Palestine solution, or only Hamas solution. So in all aspects, it's so strenuous and so volatile. It doesn't look great.
It's not a new this is not a new. This is a decade.
Exactly.
This is a centuries old. This is decades old, or not centuries. This is decades old.
Since the 40s.
Since of
40s,
just
bro. Ending of World War II.
and each
1947.
group Arab Palestinians and Israel's each have the same conviction that this land is theirs, that they are both willing to die for. That's the level of conviction in which both of these people, whoever has the right to it, it's not my place to say, but I know each one of them believes it equally. And I also know what you said, this is the absolute last place that Netanyahu wanted to be in terms of the ceasefire coming to fruition. The right-wing part of his government, and I finally found their names, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, which are the two heads of that right-wing coalition that ultimately want to just see Gaza completely eradicated, every Palestinian dead, whether they're going to say that or not. That's what they want. This ceasefire is their absolute worst nightmare.
Yep.
And I actually had, right before this, I was watching a video. Muhammad Shihada, he was a reporter, and this is information is for him. He said word for word, the ceasefire deal that was agreed upon is the exact same deal that was produced by Israel's own team on the 27th of May 2024. This is last year. Hamas accepted this deal on July 2nd, and it was immediately rejected by Netanyahu, who then imposed or proposed 4 additional conditions that his own generals, advisors, and negotiators deemed were impossible. Netanyahu never wanted this ceasefire to happen. That's why you put the 4 conditions in that basically put them in a bind where it's it's never going to work. What complicates this even more, what the difference is that I think that the ceasefire comes in now, is that in a good way, Donald Trump is in office. And Donald Trump, compared to Joe Biden, is somebody that actually has some type of will and is not easily manipulated in what Netanyahu was doing to Biden. This is somebody who can at least produce some type of pushback. He's going to stand on what he said. Because after Netanyahu turns down the deal he imposes in conditions, America has the chance to say this is what's happening in the negotiations. Netanyahu is not playing ball. But what actually happened was we said it was all Hamas. Hamas is not playing ball. Hamas is not playing ball. Hamas is not playing ball, which is not what happened. And then obviously Hamas and the Palestinians who are sitting in the negotiation room watching Netanyahu impose these 4 conditions that are completely unreasonable, will never come. Then I'm hearing the United States watch that happen and then blame it on us. We're never going to reach a ceasefire deal. So, like you said, I think this ceasefire deal, and I was kind of reading into it, it's like broken into 3 stages. Like, I see Netanyahu doing the same thing and purposefully derailing this ceasefire because he's in a position, just like you said, you brought up, like, if this goes through, he's out of the job.
For sure.
His right wing will abandon him. This is not what they want. But at the same time, Donald Trump did at least did what Biden would not do and is applying some ounce of pressure, saying this cannot continue to go on. What's actually happening behind closed doors, whether that's actually what you want. Publicly, he's at least saying that.
You must end it here.
Ooh,
This
sick, yo.
How are we feeling, guys? Like, let's do a temperature check. How's everybody feeling about this episode?
10.
Good.
Alright.
Yeah, I'm very excited, y'all.
I could talk more.
Let's hope they about
I
to
could
be
talk more.
they about to be real nasty to us in the comments, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. They about to be so mean to us in the comments. So
No, I definitely thought, like, after I started speaking about some of the things, I would just like replay some of the things I was saying. I was just like,
So editors, be nice to us, but
Always be nice.
they not gonna like this.
they not gonna like this one.
Not gonna
Feds,
like this one.
the federals,
Nah, yeah,
we are just kiki ha haing. We are just college students, okay? Please. But that is all.
We are joking.
We are just joking. But that is all for Beyond the Mic Politics. As always, keep up with us on our socials and make sure you tap in with every other Beyond the Mic segment, whether that is sports or entertainment. Beyond the Mic on top. We are here and we are providing you guys with A1 content all year. So make sure you keep up with us.
Thank you to our host.
Putting
it all together, our wonderful host.
Stop, y'all. Please. I would not. This would not be. This would not be a great segment without my great co-host. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. Shout out to our editor. Shout out to our cameraman.
Stay unified.
Peace out.
Stay
We love
beautiful.
y'all. Stay sexy.
Stay